So what's your personal connection to this storyline?
My personal connection to the storyline. Um, my personal connection to the storyline is, um, I mean, it's a lot about mental health issues, and that's something I've dealt a lot with in my life, with a good deal of, uh, severe anxiety and depression that I've dealt with. Um, but yeah, and I realize like I also have like a diagnosis of bipolar 2, and I haven't always felt comfortable about talking about that just because I realize that the stigma that goes along with it, and I'm afraid, someone might automatically attach a red flag to me just based on hearing that word. Um, but destigmatization, I think, is something close to my heart, and I think this gives us a platform to, really have the ability to help out in that area.
I think it was just kind of sheer luck that, like, because when you showed me your YouTube videos initially, and I was like, I've been wanting to make the group like a reality for a long time, and just kind of like the connection that we have in terms of we're on the same page, because like I as well struggle with anxiety and depression, and I don't want to make fun of anybody that struggles with these, because I mean people take their lives over stuff like this, and I don't want that to be translated on screen as like we're just making fun of people for comic relief. Like they're like we have connections with the core of the reason why we're kind of doing this, and with your writing style and everything, and just what I've seen you do. I mean, I couldn't see like a better match, or just like just happening upon somebody who writes just as awesome as you do, and you're able to take the concept of idea. You're able to take the concept of my idea and just kind of turn it into. I'm sorry, we're shooting in my living room right now. Just full disclosure here. We got birds.
It's all right.
But yeah, like I don't think we could have had a better kind of like matchup in terms of getting this brought to reality.
Yeah, like I've always known that I could write funny, but when you did come to me with a show idea, I thought it was an amazing coincidence just because it spoke to me so much, because I have spent time in support groups like this, and I have nothing but like the utmost respect for the people in those rooms. Um, and yeah, I don't know, they taught me a lot, and I think the respect that I have for all those people will come through in really, showing all the different facets of people who have these struggles. Um, yeah, I want to show that mental illness can manifest itself in struggles and peculiarities, but by no means, like in most cases, it doesn't make someone or incline someone to be inherently bad. So yeah, I just kind of want to broaden people's perspective on the topic.
So obviously the proof of concept video, we don't expect everybody to kind of know the context of who these people are and what they're watching. More so the proof of concept video is just kind of give a feel for the show, kind of like the visual direction it's supposed to go to, the pace that it's supposed to keep up with. Obviously to watch or to have a full grasp on what these characters are and why they're in this video, even if they don't end up in the final show, just kind of, give kind of the quirkiness angle that we're taking with some of the characters, brushing up on the more comedic side of reality.
Primary characters in the world they live in. I think the world is unique because we have a certain amount of the episodes that take place inside the support group meeting, and then we have a certain amount that takes place outside of the meeting, and you see what their lives are outside. But then in every episode, they will meet up in the support group meeting, and you get to see what their lives and their issues are like when they converge with each other.
That's easy. I mean, mental health is a pretty big issue going on in the world. I mean, everybody suffers with mostly everybody suffers with some sort of level of mental health issues. It's very prominent in Hollywood even, and that's kind of like the direction that we're going. So I feel like it allows an opportunity to kind of tie yourself into it.
Uh, yeah, I think it gives a platform to show different sides to people with mental health issues, and allows us to show them in a light that you can empathize with.
Without revealing anything.
Yeah, that's kind of hard to get into without revealing too much. There's definitely an evolution for all the characters. We don't want them to just remain stagnant characters that are a caricature of a particular type of person. There will be an evolution to all the characters, especially, I would say, Kevin, the main character. But yeah, we're gonna see so many different facets of all their personalities. I don't want to get into too much at this point right now, but it should be a journey for all of them.
We don't have enough money.
Yeah, I definitely agree with the money thing. Like right now, I kind of feel like we're running a relay race and we're ready to get going and we're ready to run the next leg of the race, but we're waiting for that baton to be handed off, and the baton is kind of that money that we're waiting to get handed off to us. But
Which is in essence why we're here. I mean, like the promo video that we did or sizzle reel, like that was very much like no budget. We all pulled out of our pockets to try to pull that together. It was all done by crew, a couple potential cast members, but like yeah, like we kind of just pulled that out of our ass to try to do what we could to give a visual example. Obviously, we know kind of the direction that ended up going just with limited resources, but that's kind of like why we're here right now, is just so we can try to get that money that we need so we can actually give this series the justice it deserves.
mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard to describe kind of how unique it is, like how it's original. Because I mean, you kind of see some of the situations kind of get brushed up on in other shows and stuff, but they're not presented in the same way. I think this is a little bit more focused as to the lives of these people rather than just kind of passing by on the situations themselves. Where like you watch a show like somebody's an alcoholic or whatever, and you know that they're alcoholic, but you don't really get to know the character as an alcoholic. You just know that the character is an alcoholic, and we kind of dive a little bit deeper onto the side of like Hank, for example. He's an alcoholic, but he's also smart and wise. He's not a hateable type of drunk, and I think that's kind of like a unique twist that we kind of put on some of the situations and the characters that we have in the show, because it's not just we're not making fun of these people as much as we're just kind of give a little bit more like humanity behind their problems.
Mental illness, kind of as a platform, is a huge thing with this show. Other shows feature characters with mental illness, but I can't think of any that will really go in depth and explore all the nuances to all of these different types of people.
And that's where the show's strength is too, because unlike simple plot lines in every episode and every season on a lot of shows that you watch, I mean there's a lot of intricacies that allow us to really extend this out and make the potential like long term go to maybe even 1,000 episodes. I mean that'd be cool, become the next Simpsons, but with a more realistic touch on it, because there's just so many different types of personalities in the world that I mean, it's easy to just kind of embellish on those and bring them to light and bring that personality type into the character in the show.
1,000 episode. That would be great.
Not putting you on the spot.
1,000 episodes. Whew. But 1,000 episodes, he would have to be moderating this group for, oh geez, what was it, 20 years?
Well, I mean, Kevin's in college right now. Like I could see him as practicing. Like we
psychologists that
practice, but I definitely don't see Kevin, being 50 years old still doing this thing. But who knows?
He could always pass it off to another moderator.
Yeah, like 1,000 episodes. I mean, there's tons of potential in that.
Yeah. For me, I definitely would say the main character. The main character, the main focal protagonist, Kevin. Kevin is my favorite character, but I've always enjoyed shows where there's kind of the straight man with all of the a little bit more eccentric cast of characters around him, but I've always appreciated the subtleties of the straight man and his more subtle reactions. Sort of like a Michael Bluth, played by Jason Bateman in Arrested Development, that sort of character, where you see their subtle smirks and stuff like that, really bring out the comedy for me.
Kevin.
Well, yeah, Kevin's, I think fairly easy relatable. There's a lesser, I guess. Are we going just from the core cast here, or are we going with even like smaller
All
characters?
cast.
Okay, yeah, there's like well, I wouldn't say a smaller role, but she isn't necessarily in all the episodes. But there's going to be a character that deals with a lot of anxiety and kind of takes in the world like she's an open wound. And yeah, I would say I relate to uh, viewing the world through a lens of anxiety. That's who I relate to. Favorite moments?
When that camera is rolling.
I would have to agree. There's like a energy and a vibrancy as soon as we actually have an opportunity to turn on a camera. And with our resources, unfortunately, we haven't been able to do nearly as much of it as I would like to at this point. But the little amount that we have, I'm so excited to get the camera rolling more.
Yeah, no, like as soon as that camera's like on, as soon as you hear action call, just like it's like we're doing it right now. Like we're actually making an idea a reality, and there's at least in my viewpoint, there's nothing more thrilling than that. It's like, this is the dream. Like we are at the threshold of stepping over and like making our dreams a reality and bringing as many people as we can with us, and like just the rush and of that and the prospect of like we're bringing a show that we think we can actually like make a difference with, like that's a thrill.
Yeah, yeah. As like after we film a scene and then we yell cut. There's this buzz in the room that you could tell is just contagious and kind of taking over everybody in that moment. It's great.
Yeah, it's like go back to it, watch it, let's replay it. Oh my god, good.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. I'd say I mean, out of the core cast or the leads, I'd say it'd be a toss up between Hank and Justice Man. We got Hannah too, but
Hannah was going to be my answer. We haven't necessarily viewed her completely as a core character, but she kind of is. She's like a secondary core character.
supporting lead.
Yeah. I would say Hannah. She's got I don't know. There's I guess kind of a different take, a different concept on her character. I guess it's a little bit quirky, but she's a badass, and people often like a badass. And coming from, uh, her body, her look, her age, and everything, I think she's gonna probably play off as a fan favorite.
Yeah.